Chapter 46. We were now rushing into the hall. Another 600 mindless ones came into the way. I was bored of their zombie-ness and decided to remove them. Utter decimation. Both my palms glowed red as a combined blast of crimson energy flowed out with endless momentum. The range was around 20 meters in diameter. Splat. The originally white and blue floors and walls were now dripping with a fresh paint of red as the blood of the mobs now decorated the inner halls. We continued our march into the end of the first hall. A wall with thick doors stood. I nodded and was about to crush it into pieces, but a certain ogre came in the way. Worororo. Kaido turned his body to the side and picked up speed. His shoulders popped with muscles as his dragon scale tattoo seemed to glow as he charged at the thick piece of metal called a door. Boom. Kaido's shoulder slammed onto the door as the hinges were blown off as their metallic echoes resounded the bloodied halls. I nodded at his effectiveness, a breathing wrecking ball indeed. The second hall was right before the main staircase that led to the area where I could pick up the two strong existences. Thud. 4 loud echoes. 4 new nuisances. The knights and rooks, I said as I saw them. Enigma had a chessboard of main troops. We killed the pawns already, now these 4 had come. I then focused my haki on the exterior of the citadel. I could sense them. So many. It was a damn zombie apocalypse. 6,000 or so were rushing towards the castle while another 34,000 were getting on large ships to get to Encephala Island. Kaido, Indra, we don't have much time. Do it quickly. I warned them. One sword style, dance of the peacock. Indra blackened his sword as he shot forwards. His sword was weaving through the air as the image of a beautiful peacock appeared before him. His sword collided with the knight as they brought on their clash, though Indra was with the advantage. Kaido picked up his club and lit it up with his fighting spirit. The black cloud wrapped around his weapon as he brought it down. Reime Hake. His black club slammed with enormous force upon the knight as one of the rooks also was caught with it. Die, intruders. The final rook said he had a two-handed sword which he cleaved straight upon my body. I extending my palm as a mist of red was released. Devoured space. A diamond-shaped crimson barrier appeared before me. The air and space beyond the barrier were crushed and destroyed, leaving bits of the void behind. Ha! The rook yelled as he brought his sword upon my shield. Clang! The sound of metal hitting metal echoed as he was held in place. I smiled at his expression. Assail. The barrier shook for a second as it raged out from its position. The area in front of it quaked in suppression as it neared the rook. What is this? He yelled in desperation as the red diamond hit him. And instantly he felt the pain of a century. His innards were crushed, his vessels popped, his nerves severed, his bones pulverized. A mighty rook of an overlord dead, just like that. Kaido had also beaten his opponents as Indra had cut him in half. To the final room. The chamber of gathering. Ma ma mam ma. To think someone would attack you in your castle, Enigma. Big Mom laughed as she looked at his expression. Front, back, left, right, under. No signs of entry. No movements in space. Enigma scratched his chin. My queen, remind me again of the new Overlord crew. He said. Hi, Enigma-sama. It is led by Zebek, the Great Essen. The main powerhouses are the Earthshaker and the Golden Lion. Under them is Kaido of the Beasts, the Sin Incarnate. Black Death, Blinding Light, and thousands of weaker forces. She informed her captain. Sin Incarnate, Kaido of the Beasts and others have entered and were only noticed in my mind sphere. Enigma smiled in enlightenment. I see. The Golden Lion also goes by the Flying Pirate. So that's how they did it. He then closed his eyes and entered a state of calmness. Though it didn't last very long. Hoo. It's been so long since I felt this adrenaline. A new variable with new methods. How exciting. Hoo, don't let me down, children. He said as he sat back down on the sofa. Linlin squinted her eyes. Zebek's brats are here. Ma ma mam ma. How interesting. She laughed. Enigma, what will you do with them? She asked. Hoo, if they can hold up to my expectations, then perhaps I will study their brains and bodies. I hear the 2 younger ones have quite impressive healing factors. Kukuku, he thought out loud. But at that second, a loud explosion was shaking its way through the citadel. Boom. The doors leading to the chamber were blasted open as Enigma's guards jumped forth. Damien POV. The dust cleared as the area lightened up. Kaido, Indra and I stood at the broken doors. The 2 bishops and the queen were standing before us with a few others behind them. Enigma and another were seated, showing no signs of worry. Before we could say anything, my eyes drifted to the woman. Single quote. Is that who I think it is? The pink clothes, the sword, the hat, the crazy smile. Big Mom. More like Thick Mom. I yelled in surprise. Hoo, how impressive you are. Not even the Marines made it this far. You have my gratitude for the excitement from this shift of events. Enigma said as he raised his wine glass with a smile. Rahaha, I hope you enjoy that drink, Thaddeus Enigma. For it will be your last. I said with a smile of my own. It seemed like we ruined their chat, but Linlin was not allied with him, so we shouldn't need to fight her at the same time. She is an unpredictable factor, though. Kaido grinned as he smelled the strength from the ones in front of them while Indra simply readied his sword. Hoo, how fearsome you are, Sin incarnate. I must say, do you think you can beat me so easily? He asked with brimming curiosity. I guess there's only one way to find out, I said as my haki shined around my fists, my senses sharpened all around, ready to fight. Indeed. My bishops, my queen, I want them alive, he said as he continued his drink. Hi. With that, the three shot forth without hesitation. The bishops were around mid-tier Yonko commanders and the queen was high-tier YC. Worororo. Contrary to the overlord belief, Kaido was greedy and chose to fight all three at once. Don't let me down, he thundered out as he brought his clubs upon them. Indra, hold the doors for the coming horde, I told him. The 6,000 or so mobs that were still on the island had made it, they were coming up, the stairs were narrow for 50 or so to come at a time, so it was enough for him. On it, he said as he flashed back to the entrance. Hoo, and here I thought you would come at me all at once, not just one alone, Enigma said. Rahahaha, it seems I am being underestimated, I said as I saw the overlord stand up and walk forth. Very well, I shall entertain your delusions, child. The overlord carried a powerful haki presence, I could sense it flaring with my observation as he stood there, both hands behind his back. I smiled at his strength and at the blue screen that popped up in my mind. Thaddeus Enigma. Age, 57. Height, 9 feet 11. Devil Fruit. Mind Fruit P. Awakened. Fruit Rating, 7 stars. Fruit. Remark. Ultimate Type Fruit. Has the ability to wholly control a nigh infinite amount of minds at its awakened state. Great caution is advised. Haki. Tricolored. Strength. Low tier Yonko. The asterisk indicates the peak of its stage. No wonder Zebek sent me. He is strong but not to the point where he needs to act. That aside, he is still a lot stronger than me. I thought to myself. Hoo, let us begin. He said. His gaze then sharpened, as if it could cut steel itself. Might of Atlas. He spoke in an elegant tone as an orange pulse of energy shot out of his mind, inching towards me. Shit. I yelled as I felt pain like no other. It was odd. There was no physical pain at all. No defense to counter it. My thick skin and tough bones were irrelevant. The attack was purely a mental wave of enormous weight. My mind felt heavier than 1,000 mountains as my eyes popped in suppression. It was the weight of the world entirely pressing on my mind. I grit my teeth as I feel the unended power. Only 2 seconds passed as I felt like I had been holding myself up for hours. Then I recalled Shaki's words. Only a supreme king can stand these attacks without immediately collapsing. The sudden weight caught me off guard, my body was not ready. I then revolved my breath and focused on my mind. A red burst of haki concentrated around my mind, it was a bubble of safety against his attack. If Enigma's ability was a powerful tsunami, then my will would be the walls capable of holding it up. But make no mistake, if for any moment my haki runs dry, I will collapse immediately. FWU. A metal battle raged on as my will held up against his attack and the world returned to its original form. Speechless. Hoo. Impressive indeed, child. Balancing my mind, I then begin my attack. My foot digs into the ground as I bolt forth with glowing red fists at the overlord before me. Kaido's battlefield. Wororo. Do not die too fast. He yelled as he rushed at the 3 enemies. His club was already wrapped with sparks as he brought it down. Reimei Hake. The powerful club was brought down with unstoppable momentum as the 3 responded with their attacks. Unended Fury. Glory of Sparta. Grace of the Queen. Each of the 3 used their attacks to counter the raging ogre. Boom. The hall, which was previously regal and noble, was now cracking under the weight of Kaido's club. Boom. The attacks eventually calmed down, though the two bishops were struggling to continue. Keep up. Kaido roared once more. He leapt into the air and brought his club down once more. Crashing thunder. The second variant of his club attack followed through as the three once again tried to counter. Yet it didn't go as planned. Ow. The two bishops were crushed under Kaido's weight as they were sent flying into the wall. The queen was the only one left. She wasn't hurt much, her strength was slightly less than Kaido, but she was adept at deflecting damage. You have quite the vulgar strength, beast. She spat out as she saw her broken comrades. Worororo. I hope you last long enough, otherwise I will have to take out my spirit on your boss. Kaido said as grinned. HMPH. If you think your comrade can defeat Enigma-sama, then you are sorely mistaken. She replied with fury. Worororo. Enough talk, woman. With that said, Kaido ran forth once more with all great speed. The hall creaked once more under his might. Ow. Kaido roared as he used a simple attack. Shield of the Queen. The woman's hand glowed white as the club bounced straight off and went back onto Kaido's face. Kaido grimaced while being whacked by his own attack as he shook his head, regaining balance. I ate the grace fruit, giving me the ability of a nobility of a queen. Do you think a commoner like you can touch me? She said. Charm of the Queen. The pirate then started to glow a serene white as a peculiar aura was released. The white mist then wrapped around the ogre. What's this? Kaido wondered as he looked at his arms. My charm will reduce your speed, strength and power by 40% for as long as it is active, while increasing my strength twofold at the same time. She then rushed forth, playing offense against the King of Beasts. Glory of the Queen. A beautiful white spear appeared in her hand as she attacked the weakened Kaido. Bam! The spear collided with the club. Woo! The ground groaned. Kaido was pushed back. Author's Corner. The grace fruit is a buff-debuff type fruit. The buffs only work on the wielder while the debuffs were on any enemy. Chapter 47. Hundreds upon hundreds of mindless ones were currently rushing through the citadel and up the stairs to the Chamber of Gathering. Damien and co had only taken out around 2,700, and the remaining 7,300 that were still on the island were making their way over. The only reason they had yet to flood in was the thin halls and staircases, forcing them to come in tens at a time. Due to this, the only guardian, Indra, was able to mow them down as they came. Already 700 bodies lay dead, most were clean cuts and some needed multiple cuts as they would simply get up as they felt no pain. It was a frightening sight to see so many with missing limbs and popped faces rush forth, caring little for their health and whatnot. If not for Indra's sharp sword, the entire plan would have collapsed by now. Chamber of Gathering. Damien POV. Your mind may be strong, but it is not enough, child, Enigma responded. I was currently trying to get close to him and land a solid punch, but it proved difficult. Why? The guy uses mind pulse-like attacks to obstruct me with ease. He sends out these orange beams that can't be blocked with my strong physique, they only add more and more weight to my mind. Raging stream. I blast a river of energy forth from my right palm as I gain a footing. FWU. The air rumbles as the 10-foot wide stream of pulverizing energy crushes everything in its path. Enigma only smiled in response. Barrier of 1,000 minds. Upon his words, a large orange wall appeared and stood tall right before him. My attack raged on as it collided with his shield, slowly running out of momentum as it vanished. Blazing mind arcs. Enigma slightly squinted his eyes as a flurry of large orange arcs shot out of his mind, slicing the air and racing towards me. I saw the oncoming attack, at least 20 or so thin yet sharp blades of mental energy. Devoured space. A diamond barrier appeared in front of me as the hail of blades clashed upon it. Clang clang clang. Every blade that hit my shield caused me to inch back a few feet. I was on the losing end. Damn it, this won't do. I shook my head as I saw him smirk. Very well, let's see how you do with the second wave. Fury of Atlas. With that said, the same attack proceeded from before, yet it was heavier, far heavier than the one prior. It is important to know that the previous mental suppression was never lifted, I just adapted to it. So now that he has increased its weight and intensity, it caused a huge flare of pain. Fuck. I cursed as the second wave hit my mind. Before it was the weight of 100 mountains, now it was the weight of 1,000. Even though there wasn't any physical weight, my knees were still threatening to buckle as I waved in and out of consciousness. This won't do, I yelled as I tried to hold up. It is useless. Your hockey is simply not enough. Though you should be proud, this level can pressure even experienced vice admirals to a halt. He said with a smile. My body was telling me to quit, to yield, yet my spirit, the spirit of a supreme king, just held on and on. I was clenching my teeth as I broke out a smile. Hee, my hockey, is it enough? And a certain light flashed by my eyes as I felt a new current swirl around in my head. And who decided that? Boom. My hockey, which was acting as a wall, had been cracked and broken, yet that doesn't signify its end. It only gives me what I needed to rebuild it far stronger. A larger and thicker bubble of crimson energy rushed out of my head as I regained my footing, my back straightened as I approached a new height. Your conqueror's hockey has reached peak intermediate stage. Congratulations. With that burst of hockey, I was able to stand up to it, but rather I saw it as an opportunity. More. Burst, rage, scream. I was trying to pour out energy, more than necessary. The bubble kept growing and growing, becoming heavier as it expanded. The feeling of being suppressed was pissing me off as I had the desire to reach the peak of this world. How could I fall here? You're using my attack to sharpen your hockey. Enigma said with an astonished face. This was the first time he has seen such a rebellious person. The man who was used to controlling tens of thousands with a mere thought was now seeing a weaker enemy use him as a tool to grow stronger. How impudent. You brat. Enigma's calm demeanor finally warped as he felt a threat that could grow too large to contain. Enigma is used to having things go as planned. He is the chess master. The moment a piece plays a move he did not expect is the moment he will start losing his composure. I smirked as I saw his pissed-off face. Fine, as you wish. I will show you despair. Enigma brought both palms together in front of him as if he was doing a prayer. An orange field shot out of his body. Laying the board. The mind field emitting out of his body started taking shape. Around us, a square appeared. It had an alternating pattern of squares in two colors all over as he and I stood at opposite sides. It was literally a chessboard. Everything else disappeared. Kaido's battle nearby was gone. Big Mom watching with a smile also vanished. My observation turned off. The only ones left were him and I. FWU. With a wave of his hand, a few flashes rained down to the board. Pieces of the game. I thought as I saw the pawns, bishops, knights, rooks and the queen appear. Let us play a game. I shall show you just how outmatched you are, boy. Enigma said with a smirk. Rahaha, you are quite foolish, aren't you? You set up a game. You bring in the pieces. Then you predict my moves and use them against me. Do you think yourself a winner because you are smarter than everyone? Rahahaha. You may govern the rules of the game. But I was never one to abide by them in the first place. Kaido's battlefield. Che. Kaido gritted his teeth as he was rained down by quick and powerful spear attacks by the queen. Royal thrust. The queen's spear lit white as she raised it over her head and rushed forth. The blinding spear rocketed towards the ogre's abdomen as it impaled him. Boom. Kaido was forced back 20 meters as the ground nearby was crushed. Worororo. I haven't bled in a while. He mused as he saw a drop of blood come out of his mouth. It was fun while it lasted. Kaido smirked as his club sparked in thunder. The entire ground below shuddered in pain as the ogre raged forth with his club in both hands as it neared the female pirate. Divine thunder. The air currents around the club were bending as streaks of energy were released by the sheer momentum of the attack. Thunder echoed as his attack neared its destination. Majesty of the queen. She twirled her spear in a circle as it generated a force and met the attack head-on. Boom. A mind-numbing explosion resounded as the enormous club clashed with the white spear, the cracked floor only groaning further as the pillars nearby were threatening to collapse. The nearby furniture was reduced to rubble as the shockwaves pulsed out of their clash. How can you have so much strength even after my fruit powers? Worororo. You are just too weak. Boom. A laugh was all that was heard as the entire floor was thrashed as the ever-weakening supports gave in and collapsed down. The citadel itself was breaking apart as the two pirates fell down the opening. Blocks upon blocks of concrete rained down onto the foundation as the majesty of Enigma's castle was no longer there. As for the two pirates who had an entire castle cave in on them, one was smirking while the other was no longer breathing, nothing but a bleeding mess. The chessboard. Not abiding by the rules, you say. Hoo, everything is governed by rules. You cannot simply wish against them, it is not a path possible for your current strength. Enigma roared, it seems I was challenging his beliefs. I have linked this to your life force. This battle can last for years and only a few seconds would have passed in the outside world. You shall play till your demise. He smiled, he had great confidence in his intelligence. I shall feast on your desperation as I break you piece by piece. Chess A. Chess of life and death is more like it. That said, he didn't even say anything about him losing. I guess that comes with a mind that can reach over 300 IQ. I had never been a fan of chess, I tried to play it but bombs were more attractive at the time. The board was marked with numbers and letters to allow voice command. Pawn f7 moves to f5. He said. Woo. The pawn moved as instructed. I was about to panic but then I recalled that I have a certain someone with me. Sybil, how good are you at chess? I asked. I am the Picasso of anything to do with probability and possibility. She said with a proud tone. I smirked, it's all yours then. 20 minutes later. How could this happen? I lost. This is impossible, improbable, illogical. He said with a perplexed face as he saw his situation. Only the king and the queen piece left while the former was held under checkmate. Unfortunately, even a 300 IQ human is no match against a system AI which can literally reincarnate you into another world. Well, I did say that I was gonna cheat, right? But, with my experience in past battles, these guys always leave a loophole in their strategies, especially paranoid ones like him. Shatter. The mindscape cracked apart as the world reappeared. Pua. Enigma spat out 4 gallons of blood as he hunched down, huffing and puffing. I guess that's the cost of his loss, maybe he just never saw himself losing. Thud. Asterisk. A loud bang as a large shadow appears beside me. Worororo. Looks like I finished before you. Kaido laughed as he saw the broken overlord. Yeah, whatever. I rolled my eyes at his words. Ma. You lost to a bunch of brats, Enigma. Big Mom roared from the side as she walked towards him. Lost. I lost. Heresy. It is not over yet. Let me see how you handle this, boy. Enigma yelled as he used his final card. Final impulse. Once again the surrounding world disappeared as I felt my mind lock into a white space. The world then began flooding with color. A forest, a small cabin, a warm bed. And a person then materialized. A woman. She had long white hair and lilac-colored eyes, a beautiful face and a warm smile. Mother. My little Damien, she said. The voice I could never forget for the rest of my life. She extended both arms out and smiled the same way she did when she told me to run into the forest, the last time I saw her. Come and give your mother a hug. Author's Corner. Enigma loves having things go his way. He has been living for decades being the smartest in the room. Due to that, he became impulsive in his actions. But that doesn't mean he will become weaker than he should. Pissing off the bad guy does not mean you will win. Chapter 48. Come and give your mother a hug. The eyes, the smile, the warmth, it was way too realistic. That smile was there for me at my weakest moments and most foolish moments. The long nights, the cold mornings, the starved evenings, the silent nights, all through that, this woman was able to give me the brightest of smiles and still embrace me in her warmth. Even after her passing, she protected me, my powers that allowed me to survive, the link to nature, the trees, the voices in the lonely years, everything. And now she stands before me with that same look. The lost embrace that I desired on the rainy days through my endless training. The warmth of a mother that was robbed from me in both my lives. Come. You carry so much weight, my little Damien. Let go and come to your mother. She whispered as I staggered. Step. I slowly took steps forwards. I felt a huge weight on my body. It was like a black hole, pulling me to my illusion to let go and devour me whole. Step. I stand right before her, a few feet from her embrace. I knew it was a lie but I couldn't help but continue to look at her face. Even if it were a trick from my enemy, it was still a light in the darkness. Come now, return to your mother and let go of your worries. My mother's illusion said. Mother. Yes. 8 years ago you told me that no matter what I did, you would always support me. Of course, darling. No matter if the entire world is against you, just remember that mom will always love you. That's exactly what she said back then. I thought as I took a final look at her. As much as I wanted it. As much as I craved her acceptance. I knew it was too good to be true. Too perfect, too wonderful. Then please, die for me. Grip. With that said, I grabbed the illusion by the throat and lifted it 3 feet from the ground. The illusion flails in the air, desperately trying to free itself from my grasp. Damien, stop. I am your mother. It muttered as it punched my chest in sorrow. The voice was a bit too gentle, too similar to her voice. Its eyes had started to go red as they started to pop out, its face turned purple due to the lack of oxygen. The entire body was shaking as the last ounce of life drained out, all under my gaze and my grasp. Illusion or not, it was enough for me to grit my teeth in anger. A trickle of blood flowed down my right hand as I was clenching it too hard. Slowly but surely, the struggling body flailed to a halt as empty eyes looked forth without a hint of life, no breath, no nothing. To force me to kill my own mother, apparition or not. Enigma, you crossed the line. My eyes wholly start glowing crimson as sparks of red lightning zap around me, the air grows heavy as I feel seething. Anger. Outside. Third paw. Hoo, no matter how strong a mind is, no one can escape what they truly desire, Enigma said as he regained his composure. Did you do your little mind tricks, Enigma? Big Mom asked the Overlord. Hoo, that is correct. He is currently seeing the closest person to him while his mind is overwhelmed with the weight of love. Hoo. He laughed. Kaido was looking at the youth beside him. Damien's eyes were closed yet his fists were clenched hard and his breathing was erratic. The ogre simply cackled as he heard Enigma's words. Worororo. I have fought Damien many times now, if you think some mind dance will stop him then you are truly an idiot. Hoo, little beast, you have no idea how fragile one becomes when they are approached by what they hold most dear, Enigma commented. However, at that second, all three feel a disturbance in the force. Vwoo. Asterisk. An eerie wind blows over the broken down castle. Vwoo. Asterisk. Yet an instant later, the winds start picking up in fury, whistles of rage howl throughout the destroyed citadel as the ground starts cracking underneath the shorter youth. Crack boom. Asterisk. Dark clouds start rolling into the sky as light rain pours around the lands. Thunders echoes through the air as lightning strikes the tall trees nearby, igniting flames. Big Mom looked around and noticed the changes, something she had seen before. This is how Shoku Haki, but it is evolving. How can that be? Enigma mutters as he subconsciously takes a step back. He grows confused as things are going far off what was calculated. Enigma. A young yet heavy voice rattles the area as the youth opens his eyes, the red shine flashes in the pouring rain. Boom. A red burst of Haki explodes in triumph as it grows and grows, the weight, the range and the intensity increases as the boy glares at the Overlord. Give me your life. Damien's eyes had turned a demonic red all over, pure raging crimson as sparks of Haki rattled around his body. Step. Every step left a small crater in the ground as a menacing smile took over his young face. One even Zebek would appreciate. It seems in his anger, Damien had fully accepted the title of the Sin Incarnate. Why can you leave it all aside? How can you kill what you desire most? It is unscientific. The Overlord growled as he too started to radiate in Haki. The creeping red aura was met with the Overlord orange bubble, yet somehow the sizes were quite comparable. The tens of thousands of mindless ones outside could no longer bear the pressure of two supreme kings, causing them to collapse in unison. Their mind control was overwhelmed and cancelled out. Evil spirit, will you get in my way? He asked. Damien was angry, very angry, but that does not mean he was foolish enough to fight two low-tier Yonko-level pirates. Linlin had a mysterious yet scary smile as she looked at the young boy who was releasing great amounts of Haki, enough to alter the weather. Ma. I want to see just how far you can go, boy. Damien just nodded as he looked at the other giant. Kaido, he's mine. Kaido chuckled as he moved back a few meters. Big Mom did the same. She came for a deal but seemed to have found something more interesting. Enigma cared little for Big Mom's actions. He was a supreme king in his own right. Such things may be out of his calculations but that doesn't mean he would simply crumble away. You are but an outlier. One that shall be expelled by me. The Overlord roared. At that moment, Damien shot forth, the air along his body groaned in agony as the surrounding ground was crushed to bits. Enigma released his mind powers as it generated a thick and stable orange barrier infused with his haki. The red glow around Damien's hand darkened a bit as his armament haki, too, showed signs of evolving yet stopping right before the breakthrough point. Boom! A dark red punch collided with endless force upon the orange barrier made by the Overlord. Sounds of glass being crunched resonated as the punch pushed forth, causing cracks in the barrier but not enough for it to be destroyed. Black lightning sparks were also thundering in the air as the clash of Supreme Kings ensued. Your mind is powerful, but that doesn't mean your strength has grown as well. Your limits will always shackle you down. Enigma said. He was right, his overall strength was at the bottom of the Yonko level but above Damien nonetheless. Limits were meant to be surpassed. I will show you the strength in the improbable. Field of Kings. A bubble of red exploded out of the youth and destroyed everything within. Yet at that moment a peculiar thing happened, the bubble changed. A thicker and far more suppressive domain of red burst out this time, it was mixing in his conqueror's haki. The pressure released had grown to another level. Realm of Gods. This was the secondary application of the domain. It took into the pulverization and the stagnation of Damien's fruit power and merged it with his color of Supreme Kings to add the far greater effect of domination. The shield made by the Overlord cracked and cracked as it started to break apart. Shatter. The orange shards of mind energy clattering onto the ground as the Overlord was pushed back 6 meters. Tell me, Enigma, have you ever calculated your own demise? Damien asked as he stood tall before the Overlord. Damien had now changed physically, his fruit power seemed to have reached a new level as it started to go red all over. His body was currently wholly encased in crimson energy, boundless pulverizing particles emitting out of his pores, causing the entire island to shake in his wake. The only thing left was a dark red-shaped humanoid that was bursting in energy from all inches of his body, only cold and hollow eyes shining through as they gazed at the blonde Overlord. Your impudence reminds me of that prideful monkey who left me with these scars. I shall end you here. Enigma finally used his last card as he was boiling with orange energy all over. To see a young pirate first use him to sharpen his haki, then to beat him in his own game, and then to go beyond his calculations, it had ignited a certain denial within him. Mind arts, essence of Athena. Upon his technique, a huge silhouette of a Greek goddess appeared. She wore golden armor, a Gorgon shield affixed on one arm while wielding a spear in the other. There was even an owl resting upon the woman's shoulder. The attack was huge, nearly 50 meters in height. 50 meters equals attack on Titan Wall's height. A red flame-like aura coated around her as it lit the dim battlefield with its holy grace. The goddess of wisdom had descended. Mind's arts, essence of Athena ability image. I will crush your attack to pieces then. Damien said with a solemn tone. The power in Enigma's final attack was off the charts. Damien, who was nothing but a figure made of volatile red energy, brought both hands together as a final stretch of his powers. His body once again exploded with red energy, it was truly his finishing move. The energy grew larger and larger. It was so incredibly dense as it started to take the shape of a giant creature. It had large, dark red wings that spanned over 45 meters in width and height. Blackish red body with sharp scales pointing out of the back. And a glowing yet frightening red underbelly filled with his greatest strength. Roar. It was a fear-inducing dragon that matched the size of the golden avatar that stood before it. Unlike Enigma's attack which lit the battlefield in orange-red, Damien's attack instead brought a despairing red and black aura, both clashing together. It was a clash of a goddess and a mythical beast. Kaido on the side was growling as his inner fight spirit was being released as he saw the scale of the attacks. Big Mom was also smiling as she seemed to be thinking quite deeply about something related to the boy who amused her. Let us end this, Sin incarnate, Damien. Enigma roared as he raged forth. Damien saw the attack and retaliated with full force. Advent of chaos. The dreadful dragon roared as Damien called its name. Every second it existed was another second that the island was subjected to its sheer pulverizing effect, causing the very roots of the landmass to quiver. Damien bolted forth, the dragon followed him as it flapped its mighty wings and clashed against the spear of the goddess of wisdom. Boom. BAAM. Endless energy torrents whirled all over the land as the colors of red and gold collided. The clouds above were blown apart as the weather cleared in their wake, sparks of black lightning followed as the Clash of Kings went on. Boom. A final explosion as the energy generated from their duel sent out a 60-meter-tall tsunami in all directions of the island, causing many of the ships sailing over to sink as the thousands of unconscious pirates were sent to the bottom of the sea. Boom. Another mild explosion sounded over the ruined citadel, which is now nothing short of rubble and dust as the bodies of a human crashed onto the ground. Damien's bloodied body stood tall as he was breathing incredibly hard. Every breath he drew caused a small vortex to form as his body desperately tried to regain its stability. Red droplets of blood were also mixed in his exhalations as his body was at the point of breaking down. He had fully released his fruit powers, more than his body could currently hold. Even with his regeneration, it would take at least a few days and a lot of nutrients to heal. On the other side of the field was quite the sight to behold. The well-groomed overlord that once horrified the seas with his ability to control anyone with a single thought was embedded into the mountain far, far away. A trail of blood followed his path as the only thing left was a destroyed and messed up corpse. The overlord, Thaddeus, Medulla, Enigma has fallen. Author's Corner. This arc was more or less to give MC a proper way to improve his hockey and not like the usual, 3 years later Mick is op, treatment. Like Luffy, he grows a lot in battle and has reached a new height. You'll see the stats in the next chapter. P.S. He also released a new form of his fruit power there. Therefore even his fruit has leveled up. Chapter 49. The Overlord, Thaddeus, Medulla, Enigma has fallen. Damien POV. Ha, hua, ha, I was currently trying to stabilize my breathing. That final attack took literally every drop of fruit energy I had. Heck, I even entered a secondary form when I released it, kind of like Luffy's Gear 2 where all my abilities increased many-fold. It was a raw concept that requires work but definitely a huge upgrade. Other than that dragon thing. I didn't see that coming. I thought of a creature that incited fear and chaos while I was enraged and ended up forming a dragon from it, pretty cool. Surely my strongest move thus far. I breathed out a large tornado of air. My body was back to the point where I could move it. Though my arms and legs were aching, my chest was like thousands of paper cuts, every muscle contraction sends a wave of pain. But it wasn't that bad, I was used to pain. It was only the mental pain I had not grown used to, which is why Enigma's mind attacks caused such damage. I just couldn't train it before, but once I adapted, I used him like a grindstone to evolve my hockey. And evolve it did. Sybil, play the notifications I muted during the fight. I instructed my system. Coming up. Ding. Your Conqueror's hockey has entered the advanced stage. Congratulations. Your fruit mastery has entered the advanced stage. Congratulations. Your strength has reached quasi-Yonko. Congratulations. Multiple quests ready to be claimed. Sweet. I couldn't help but smirk as I read the text. No wonder Luffy grows so much while fighting stronger foes. Such huge advances in life and death situations. Heck, this is actually my first true solo fight. I then sensed my surroundings and it was as I thought. All over the island, even the seas beyond, and all the pirates under Enigma's banner were freed. As of now, the largest pirate fleet had been dismantled. Indra was simply waiting on top of some collapsed rubble as he cleaned his sword in patience. I slowly start to move my body as I feel my regeneration kick in. It was a troublesome process. I took out a potion from my inventory. It was the healing solution, and gulped 2 down. Grug. Instantly I felt a warm current course through my body as the rips and tears all over start to heal. Though it did nothing to re-energize me, I need to eat. I have never felt so starved in my life. Damien. A voice yelled in my ear. Huh. What is it, Sybil? I asked her in my head, unused to such a hasty voice. Look at his corpse, don't you see it? I turned my gaze to the mangled overlord and observed his condition. It was true, there was a glowing orb around his body. I control the greenery nearby as a vine darts out from a tree and grabs the orb and brings it to me. What is this? I wondered as I felt it. It was like that memory shard I got from Fishman Island, yet something different. No weight, no temperature, it was as if it didn't even exist. Ding. Evolutionary relic found. I scratched as the description popped up in my head. Evolutionary relic. A wisp of energy left behind that can be used to further evolve a specific skill. Can be used to evolve. ancient voice. Proceed with evolution. Sybil, do expand on this please. I asked her as this sounded a bit crazy considering the skill it was talking about. I see. The Overlord awakened his fruit which left behind a wisp of energy. His mind fruit is similar to your ancient voice in the aspect of controlling the mind of others. Here's the evolved version of the skill. Ancient voice 2. Secondary evolution gains. Greatly increases the degree of compulsion. Anyone below 3 sub-levels of strength will be fully compelled with your words. Low-tier Yonko commanders and weaker. Anyone below your level but above the 3 sub-level threshold will face a varying degree of effect. Allows you to use your mind to inflict illusions of any form upon others. The weaker the mind of a person, the more difficult it is for them to escape from your grasp. Allows you to subject certain ideas into one's mind while them being unaware of your mental intervention. Allows you to mold illusions with your conqueror's haki release to inflict greater fear and suppression onto your foes. Evolution cost. Requires relic. Geez, I had no clue that you could go further with this. So the relic only upgrades one part of the skill. And not the entire skill. The real part of ancient voice was the voice part, but this will upgrade the compulsion aspect of my skill. It has its uses for sure. I will upgrade it later as right now I have another matter to deal with. I thought as I put the relic into my inventory as I heard a voice. Ma ma'am ma. I didn't expect a brat to explode in so much power. No wonder Zebek took you under his flag. Big Mom commented as she came into view as the dust settled. I hope she doesn't try to fight us, even with Kaido, we are no match. I thought. She smiled at my bloodied body but then seemed quite surprised. You have already healed so much. I see. How old are you, brat? She asked with curiosity. I wasn't sure how this was relevant but told her nonetheless, almost 16. Ma ma'am ma. 2 years then. That is all she said as she turned to the. 2 years for what? She turned and gave a creepy grin. 2 years till I come and collect your seed. She said with a rather disturbing expression. Don't even think of it you old bag. I'm not one of your toys you extract a seed from. Try anything and I'll kill you. I roared back. The last thing I wanted was to be arped by a crazy chick who literally ate her own mother and killed her own children. She may be hot as hell right now, but who knows what condition her lower body is in. She already popped out 24 brats. Her uterus ought to be extracted and put on display in some museum. Ma ma'am ma. The stronger you are the better. I can make powerful children with your seed, boy. Just try to grow taller or I will have to extract it manually. She cackled. I grimaced at the sight of being abused by a 28-foot-tall witch. It was a horrific sight. She was almost thrice my height right now. Enough of your crap. What exactly is your play now, evil spirit? Enigma is dead, the Navy is probably on its way now. Just what are your intentions? I asked. She could kill both I and Kaido right now but she could have done that by now, it's obvious she's up to something. You brats messed up my plan with my Gigantus serum, but I doubt that old fox Enigma would have given me what I wanted. She then smirked, but I haven't seen Zebek in a while now, I guess it's time to reunite with that crazy guy. A crazy chick calling that guy man crazy, Zebek is impressive as always. Fine, but you will sail on your ship, ours is too small for your giant ass, I said as I cracked my stiff body. Kaido then walked up and looked at Enigma. Che, now all the other pirates will wake up and are starting to run away. Damn you, Damien, you took all the fun away. The grumpy ogre said. Yeah, whatever. Let's go, I'm too hungry for your shit. I waved him off. With that said and done, I, Indra, Kaido, Linlin and her kids went to the docks. Big Mom's ship was already ready to go but most of the children were still knocked out by my hockey clash with Enigma. What none of the pirates sensed was a certain individual who was hiding nearby. His movements were wholly concealed as not even advanced observation hockey would be able to sense him. He had a white mask while wearing matching attire. He had a snail in one hand as he was currently reporting to his superiors and the new threats that had emerged. After concluding his report, he simply created a portal-like window and disappeared. The suicidal Rambo. Thankfully the fodders still on the ship had noticed the collapse of 40,000 pirates and took it as the signal to fetch us, their commanders. They sailed to the Erie Sea, many ships were swaying in the current, broken apart from the tsunamis sent out from the Clash of Kings. The waters were littered with bodies as they floated in varying conditions, all unconscious or dead. I ran on the ship and dived into the kitchen. So hungry, running out of stamina is horrible in this world. I couldn't help but inhale everything we had in the fridge. I finally understood Luffy's appetite as I felt barely a third full. My hunger was a bit odd right now though, even before I had never felt this gluttonous. Damn, I'm still hungry, I complained as we set sail back to the Titanic. We had a vivre carte of shaki, so it was a simple route. Commander, you finished 10 days of meals for 12 people. I'm afraid there isn't anything left, Indra said as he sat in patience. Rahaha, stiff as always, Indra. And you say all food is finished? Not at all. We have a giant ship following us with tons of food, I replied as I turned my attention to the sailing cake half a kilometer away. Ah, but Commander, are you sure? The evil spirit is known for her impatience when it comes to food. Indra hesitated. I just waved off his concern. Hee, I may have said some crude things to her, but if she wanted she could easily have killed us all. I was able to beat Enigma because of his arrogance and overconfidence in his intelligence. She, however, is another case. I wasn't exaggerating, the woman had reached the peak of low Yonko from what I could feel. That was nearing the same as Enigma. She was a monster on her own. But again, she is 28 or so by now, her strength is to be expected. That aside, the main reason for my reluctance to fight her was that I could not damage her without emission, something I have yet to unlock. Her skin and endurance are too much to penetrate without it. Well, I'll go over there, see y'all later, I said as I geppo-ed to her ship. Thud. I landed at her ship with a small thud as I felt some presence rush at me. Halt. A huge amount of walking food yelled. There were gingerbread men, food pieces, tree men, all kinds of things. That wasn't what interested me, the real thing was the person sitting on the railing 30 meters away. He was quite tall for his age, with a scarred face, magenta-colored hair with cool clothes. Katakuri. I thought. Ma, so much hostility for the measly little me. I come in peace, I said as I impersonated Kizaru while raising my hands in surrender. I glanced at the boy, he was already nearing my height at 7 years of age. Katakuri seemed to be in deep thought as he stood there with an inquisitive expression. Damien, why did you come here? Linlin's voice echoed through the giant ship as the doors to the eatery opened. A few kids came out. I recognized quite a few. Oven, Perispero, Daifuku, Opera, Cracker, Brûlée. Yo. We ran out of food so I came over here. I said. You want me to feed you my food? Boy, no one takes my food. Big Mom said as she walked over, some anger in her voice. Her curves were a bit too sharp as they cut the air as she approached me. She even had Napoleon in her hand while leaning the blade on her shoulder. Damn, to think she turned into that monstrosity later on. If she didn't already have like 10 husbands or a few bombs in the oven right now, then maybe I would have taken her offer. Or if I was in matching height. I shook my head with a sigh. On the outside, I kept a plain face as I just gazed at her. Linlin hummed then laughed. Ma. If you can teach one of my kids in the color of observation then I will let you eat as much as you want. I raised my eyebrow. Oh. Just which one of these kids is it for you to expect so much from them? I asked. Katakuri. She called out. Clank clank. He walked forth, his shoes clanking on the ground as he stood before her. Hi, Mama. Be a good boy and take Damien to the cafeteria. Once he is finished he will teach you hockey. The boy was actually smiling slightly as he nodded, yes, Mama. I looked at the boy, what makes you think I can teach him, Linlin? Ma. Don't play dumb, brat. I can tell when I see a wielder of future sight when I see one. I don't have great talent with observation but you can already reach such a point. Katakuri is a good child, he will do as you say. She explained with some pride. Well, you're not wrong. One of the very few users of advanced observation. Even though he trained it himself later on, with my help, he may be able to unlock it much quicker. I thought to myself. I looked at the young future, sweet commander. I had accepted her offer already but I wanted to test something else. Katakuri is it. Talent is not enough to grow strong, ya know. I looked into my eyes. And then I released a bit of my conqueror's haki as a red pulse wholly descended upon the youth. Boom. It wasn't much but for a 7-year-old, it was quite the challenge. Ah. He stumbled as he tried to stay on his feet, his knees threatening to give in. His siblings seemed to react, especially the oven and Daifuku, who were about to use their fruit powers to save their brother. Don't interrupt, Big Mom said as she looked at her second-born to see how he would react. I of course expected him to hold on but was caught off guard by his reaction. Boom. A blue aura burst out of Katakori's body as he regained his stability and stood tall, though out of breath. I will do it, he said with great confidence as his newly awakened haki clashed with mine. Rahahaha. Ma ma mam ma. Not bad, I said as I saw his defiance shine bright in his eyes. His desire to protect his siblings and his fierce loyalty to his mother was reflecting off that cool gaze of his, materializing as his color of the Supreme King. Author's Corner. For his ancient voice upgrade, another upgrade of convenience for his plans, the mind effects will work on weaker opponents but very little for those his level, so I think it's perfectly fine. He will help Katakori awaken observation haki only, nothing more as of yet. As for his hunger, there is a reason that will be shown in the next chapter. And no, he won't be on his crew as Katakori is extremely loyal to his family, but that doesn't mean he can't be a future ally or something like that. Chapter 50. Munch munch. Gurug. When did I become such a glutton? I was eating so damn much. I just couldn't stop. Sybil, display my full stats, alongside every skill I have. I asked her. I na d. Damien. Age. 15 3/4. Height. 9 feet 4. Status. Tired, hungry. Strength. Quasi-Yonko. Devil fruit. Pulverize fruit, low advanced mastery. Sea stone resistance, 89%. Skills. Disease immunity plus rapid regeneration plus superhuman vitality plus ancient voice plus persona max fruit sensor max concentrated breathing constant rokushiki art mastered plus observation haki low advanced mastery armament haki peak intermediate mastery conqueror's haki controlled stage low advanced level. Points balance 34,600 SP. Many quests waiting to be claimed. Sybil, what's with all those evolution symbols? I thought you said I would have to wait a bit for my body to grow fully to get them. I asked my system. That was before now. During this battle, you released your fruit to it subconsciously released your fruit powers to the point before awakening. She continues. You didn't realize this but at that time you actually pulverized all parts of your body, crushing your muscles, tendons, bones, and skin all around. You are not a Logia, your body can only handle a definite amount of pulverizing energy, one that you exceeding in that battle. If not for your regeneration kicking in, you would have died then. Due to your advancement in Conqueror's Haki, your mind turned off your pain sensors as it could no longer take more stress. You had overestimated your body, Damien. She scolded me. But, because of your recklessness, somehow, the newly formed muscle, the one that grew back just recently, the bones and tendons are actually a lot stronger and more durable than before. You have now reached the point where evolutions for bodily skills are available. She concluded. I took a second as I went over her words. So pretty much I crushed my entire body and ended up making it better due to plot armor author's protection. And like any normal body, the parts that grow back are stronger than before, so it all worked out. Well, you do have some blessing from the Supreme Lord when you took his mission, it won't save you from everything, but those to a certain extent. Sweet. Munch munch. No wonder I'm so damn hungry. I got a huge increase in endurance and vitality that my body needs more nutrients. I exclaimed in my head. Well, I won't evolve them now. For one, I'm on an enemy ship. 2, it will probably take some time and I kind of feel like relaxing for a bit. I have been training non-stop for 16 years now. A 7-day break is fine. Other than that, I think it's time that I accept all those missions that are stacking up. I ought to have a lot of SP stored. Perhaps I can find more skills in the store as well. Burp. Asterisk. Ah, that hit the spot, I said out loud as I felt my stomach that seemed to be protruding. Katakori was across from me, sitting in silence as he saw me feast away. He thought I didn't see them, he held a box of donuts under the table as he snuck some into his mouth every few seconds. When are you going to train me? He asked. He reminded me of Mihawk. They may be badass in the future but they're curious little kids right now. Right away, I told him. But, he pointed at my protruding belly with his finger. I looked down and saw a 20-month pregnant stomach. My clothes were stretching to the max. If it's a boy, I'll name it after you. Katakori's expression didn't change at all as he sat staring at me. Asterisk cough, lighten up kid. I shook my head, how stiff these guys are. Same with Mihawk. I concentrated and willed my body to start digesting as the muscles contracted and worked overtime. Churn grumble churn, and voila, all done. Katakori's eyes widened as he saw it. How'd you do that? It's called Seimei Kiken. Just a little trick for gaining full control of your body. I waved my hand as I got up to wash my hands. I had mastered this technique quite a long time ago. It was quite easy since I used the same method I did for my breathing technique when I learned to reach the constant stage. It is quite useful and helps in such situations. Well, let's go, kid. The Titanic, New World Sea. Narrator POV. Huh, you calling my mom a pig, Santino? A pirate yelled. That's right. I heard she was rolling in mud all night long. The man roared back. I'll kill you. Come at me. A normal day on the rocks pirates. Petty quarrels have already led to the death of around 100 pirates. Another 80 had died from a brooding ogre. Therefore the rocks crew had almost lost 10% of their fleet from infighting. Nothing new. Well, except for the news that just rolled down. Joe POV. I am, Green Star, Joe of the Rocks crew. I almost died once, but Kaido-sama, in his rage, saved me. From my attacker, I am thankful. Honestly speaking, all the tragedies and titans scare me. The top 3 are too powerful to even look in the eye. The tragedies, I thought Damien-sama was approachable but then he turned a fellow pirate into a bloody mist then acted as nothing happened. Shaki Onisama is scary when you mess her cooking. Kaido-sama is a loose cannon. All you can do is pray that you don't get in his way. And never, I mean never, get near him when he's drunk. Silver Axe-sama is distant to all. All the commanders are scary. Squawk. I look up and see a platoon of seagulls fly in. They had the daily news. I grab the first paper and am mind-boggled by the news. Thaddeus Enigma has fallen. Closing square bracket. I fell off my seat. I stumble up and run to the main deck and find our cook. Shaki Onisama. Look at the news. I bring her the news as I knew this would shift the scales of the seas. Puff. She exhales a puff of smoke and raises an eyebrow in satisfaction. Looks like the kids came through, she said as she walked into the main hall. 2 minutes later, I hear a booming sound. Zahahaha. Garararara. Jihahaha. The laughs were infused with hockey as I felt nauseous just by hearing them. The brat pulled through. Very good. The captain's voice thundered over the seas. All across the Titanic even. Hundreds of pirates woke up and gathered around the area. The 2 little demons took care of that Enigma guy. Everyone, party time. Marineford. Ha, this crew never gives me a chance to rest, Kong mumbled as he dialed a snail. Garp, Sengoku, Basara, report your status. Kong demanded. This is Garp. Kong-san, I think I forgot my rice crackers. Can you send some to fetch them for me? A voice called. Give me that, you fool. Another voice was heard. Ahem, pardon that Kong Gensui. This is Admiral Sengoku. Report. We have found the Overlord corpse and confirmed his identity. As Phantom from CP0 stated, all the tens of thousands of pirates have fallen out of Enigma's control. We have routed 20,000 Marines from many bases to help with the cleanup. You can expect a huge flux of prisoners. I don't think Impel Down will hold, Sengoku said. Right, 50,000 members, around 15,000 were normal citizens but the rest are scum. This will take some time. Kong sighed. What's the state of Encephala Island? Can we use that instead? He asked after a few seconds. Doesn't seem like it. Escanor may be making a move soon as well. I think it's best we expand G5 for the time being and hold them there. This island, that, Sin Incarnate, has become a huge threat. First 2 fruits and now he has reached a new height. Sengoku said with some reluctance. Very well. Continue your search, I want all those pirates behind bars as soon as possible, Sengoku. Zebek should be going under the radar for a while, and make use of the time we have. Kong said as he switched off the call. Narrator POV. The world was once again thrown into a loop as news of the fall of another overlord rained down. 3 names were greatly discussed among both the civilians and the higher-ups. 1. Kaido of the Beasts. It was stated that this youth had the body to survive the collapse of a giant castle made with the toughest of ores. He alone was able to demolish thousands of pirates without much. His brute strength was already revered by many non-fruit users, even if he was a pirate. Many thought him to be a distant relative of the legendary continent puller, ores due to his horns, size and strength. With his minimal age, the world was prepping for a new powerhouse. 2. Evil Spirit, Charlotte Lin Lin. Her name was also going in circles as many were thinking of the rise of a new overlord. Yet some sources claim that she was a longtime ally of the Rock's pirates and will return to them soon. Lin Lin's bounty of 500 million berries at the age of 10 was surely a fear-inducing thought, considering that her strength continues to explode. Her fruit power is just as frightening as it can drain away one's life force and place it into other objects. Her strength, too, is monstrous, with her little care for the life of others only adding fuel to the fire. Many men with bigger bodies also fear they will become her next sperm bank to grow her army of children. 3. Sin Incarnate, Damien. Everyone was currently discussing the one name as it was written on the front page of the latest newspaper, as he was the one who single-handedly took down the Overlord. They talked about his fruit power being of the same class as that of the Earth Shaker, and capable of destroying islands. The younger pirates were also quite impressed by the image posted on the front page. The raging dragon created by Damien's fruit power struck fear into many's hearts. His charm even ended up seeping into the hearts of the younger ladies, much to their lovers' dismay. Yet, from all of this, his age was the real kicker. To think a 15-year-old youth was able to put an end to an overlord reign was something even the world government could no longer tolerate, as new bounties were listed and distributed with great haste. Wanted. Charlotte Lin Lin. Evil Spirit. 2,590,700,000. Dead or alive. Poster image. Wanted. Kaido. Kaido of the Beasts. 961,110,000. Dead or alive. Poster image. Wanted. Ina D. Damien. Sin Incarnate. 1,636,900,000. Dead or alive. Poster image. One last point that caused fear in the hearts of the individual governments in the seas was the fact that all three of these pirates were somehow tied together in the same crew, a true powerhouse with the power to destroy the world. The threat of the Rock's pirates had exploded once more as the seas only churned and whirled in endless chaos. Yojira Island, Paradise Sea. Mother, father, look at this. A young voice called out. The boy was running into an old decrepit mansion. There was nothing but darkness on the island as the doors creaked open. What do you have there, Hawk-chan? The boy's mother, Dracule Mina, asked. Mother, I asked you many times not to call me that. Mihawk grumbled while putting on an angry expression. Unfortunately, the message didn't get across as the woman simply pulled the yellow-eyed boy into a hug and ruffled his hair. Ah, mother, please stop. He cried out in vain. Now, Mina, let him speak. His father said as he sat on the red sofa. The green candles lighting up the wooden mansion. He unfolded the newspaper and slammed it onto the table. Look, they're talking about Nissan again. He said excitedly. Mihawk was using his tiny fingers as he tapped the image of the Sin Incarnate, dueling the chessmaster. Tilda Damien-kun has gotten stronger, Mina said as she covered her face with one hand in surprise. Indeed, it seems he has become quite the character in those chaotic seas. The man said with a nod. Mihawk was lost in thought as he continued to stare at the words as his mind wandered away. Mina noticed her son's condition and gently spoke up. Hawk-chan, you want to stand next to your Nissan as well. Mihawk absently nodded. It seems like the red-eyed youth had left quite the impression on the young swordsman. But I have to train hard. Nissan said we would meet again. I must be ready and make him proud. The 2.5-year-old said as he clenched his tiny fingers. Though he was shining with confidence, it only came off as a cute reaction in Mina's eyes. Ah, my Hawk-chan is so cute, Tilda. She grabbed him in a hug as the boy grumbled in protest. Author's Corner. New bounties. Damien was originally gonna be 1.436B, but I increased it to 1.636B instead. His threat level has gone up and beyond even Kaido's. A few wrap-up chapters for the arc and then Damien will leave for a vacation to take care of some other things. As for his upgrade, they will be soon. If you like this video, please like, comment, share and most importantly subscribe. Also click on notification bell and set it on all.